Okay. So we are going to start with the revision of the Indian Contract Act 1872, one of the most important chapters of your CA foundation law, right? In the chapter 9 units, it's a lengthy chapter, but today we are going to focus on completing our unit number 1. That is going to be our primary focus, okay? Before we go on to Indian Contract Act, section, what are the essentials, this, that, let's do the basic of why do we study Indian Contract Act. இப்போ நம்ம இதுக்கு முன்னாடி Companies Act படிச்சிருக்கோம். We have also studied LLP Act fully. Why do we study Companies Act? ஏனா we studied the case law of Satyam. Satyamல because of the scam we understood that there's a need to have a stricter rules. Auditor ஓட rotationங்கற ஒரு கான்செப்ட் வேணும். Directorsல சில பேர் இண்டிபெண்டன்ட்டா இருக்கணும். Whistle blowing அப்படிங்கற ஒரு மெக்கானிசம் இருக்கணும். இதெல்லாம் இருந்தாதான் companies will be able to function correctly அப்படினு we were able to understand. So with that we bought Companies Act 2013. அதே மாதிரி நம்ம என்ன ரியலைஸ் பண்ணோம்னா கம்பெனிஸ்லயே பார்ட்னர்ஷிப்லயே நிறைய டிராபேக்ஸ் இருக்கு. சோ அதோட டிராபேக்ஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் எலிமினேட் பண்ணி ஒரு புது ஃபார்ம் ஆஃப் ஆர்கனைசேஷன் எடுத்துட்டு வரலாம். அதுதான் லிமிட்டட் லைபிலிட்டி பார்ட்னர்ஷிப். அப்போ எல்லா லாவும் எடுத்துட்டு வரதுக்கு பின்னாடி there's some purpose. There will be no law without a purpose. இப்போ GST வந்திருக்கு அப்படினா இதுக்கு முன்னாடி இந்த வாட்ல ஏதோ ஒரு டிஸ்அட்வான்டேஜ் இருந்தது because of which GST came into existence. So if any new law is coming into existence, that means there was a purpose, there was a need. அதே மாதிரி Contract Act, what was the purpose and what was the need of Contract Act? If we go back and look at, it is very clear. If somebody makes a promise, that is, for example, today I have to start a new batch, let's suppose. I need this camera, all of this setup, right? This OBS, the software, the system and everything. I go and enter into a contract with Sony showroom. Sony கிட்ட நான் போய் என்ன சொன்னேன்னா எனக்கு 20th of July ல இருந்து கிளாஸ் ஆரம்பிக்குது. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி எனக்கு 19th குள்ள இந்த செட்டப்பை ரெடி பண்ணி கொடுத்துடுங்க. அப்படி நான் Sony கிட்ட போய் I paid the entire amount. Okay, I paid the entire amount, right? But Sony, what they have done, what the Sony showroom has done, 20th க்கு எனக்கு டெலிவரி கொடுக்கல. இப்போ இதனால எனக்கு லாஸ் இன்கர் ஆகுமா? எஸ். ஏன்னா நான் கிளாஸஸ் அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன். வித்வுட் கேமரா, வித்வுட் திஸ் செட்டப், how will I take a class? So can I go and file a case against Sony saying that they made a promise but they did not fulfill the promise because of which I suffered a loss? If I have to file a case, there has to be an act. ஏன்னா நீங்க கோர்ட்டுக்கு போய் கேஸ் ஃபைல் பண்ணனும், ஏதோ ஒரு செக்ஷனுக்கு கீழே கேஸ் ஃபைல் பண்ணனும், கரெக்ட்டா? அதுக்கு ஒரு ஆக்ட் இருக்கணும் which should be governing contracts. So act that governs the contracts that are made are known as Indian Contract Act. The act that governs the contract is known as the Indian Contract Act 1872. This is one of the most oldest act that is there in your syllabus. இது பாத்தீங்கன்னா it came in the year 1872. So இதுல இருக்கிற சில sections இன்னைக்கு டைம்ல it is a little redundant, that means a little useless because we have become more advanced, our ways of communication have changed, we don't do any more contract via post or letter. I do understand that, but still the Contract Act is there in our syllabus. So even though it has few areas where you might feel like, hey, this does not even make sense, we don't even do this today, that's okay, right? Ultimately, until the act changes or we come up with a new act, we have to follow the Indian Contract Act 1872. Did you understand the purpose of the act? Purpose of the act is நாளைக்கு எவனோ ஒருத்த கான்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு அதை ஃபுல்ஃபில் பண்ணலனா I need to have the power to go to the court and sue that person. I have the intention to create a legal obligation. An act that governs these contracts is known as the Indian Contract Act 1872. Is that clear, guys? Contract Act ஓட essence புரிஞ்சுதா? எதுக்கு Contract Act இருக்கு? Are you understanding the essence of Contract Act? Is that clear? Can we move on to the next? The next is the first section that we are going to see, section number 1. எந்த ஆக்ட்லயுமே எந்த ஆக்ட், you take the Companies Act, you take LLP Act, you take Contract Act, any act, you go to the section number 1, it will only talk about these 4 things. Any act, you take the Companies Act, you take the LLP Act, you go to the section number 1 of any act, it talks about 4 things. The first thing is called the short title. Short title na in the act oda per enna? How are we going to call this act? The Indian Contract Act 1872. That is the title given to the act. That is written in section number 1. So section number 1 la the first thing that we talk about is in the act namba eppadi கூப்பிட போறோம். What is going to be the name of this act? How are we going to call it? We are going to call it the Indian Contract Act 1872. Next is the extent of the act. எங்கெல்லாம் இது அப்ளை ஆகும்? only in some states in India or all states in India or all states excluding Jammu and Kashmir? எங்க இது அப்ளை ஆகும் அப்படின்னா the Indian Contract Act 1872 is applicable to the whole of India. Whether you are a person sitting in Mumbai entering into a contract, Indian Contract Act is applicable. You are sitting in Calcutta entering into contract, Indian Contract Act. Sitting in Pondicherry entering into contract, Indian Contract Act is applicable. Indian Contract Act is applicable to whole of India. அப்படின்னா இந்தியால இருக்கிற எந்த ஸ்டேட்ல இருந்து, நீ சென்னையில இருக்கியோ இல்ல நீ மகாராஷ்டிரால இருக்கியோ டெல்லியில இருக்கியோ, நீ எங்க வேணாலும் இரு, நீ கான்ட்ராக்ட்ல என்டர் பண்ணுனா உன்னை கவர்ன் பண்றதுக்கு we have the Indian Contract Act. இது புரியுதா? ஷார்ட் டைட்டில் கிளியர்? ஷார்ட் டைட்டில்னா ஆக்டோட பேர் என்ன, எக்ஸ்டென்ட்னா ஆக்ட் எந்த ஸ்டேட்லாம் அப்ளை ஆகும், எந்த ஏரியாக்கெல்லாம் அப்ளை ஆகும், தட் இஸ் டன். மேம் அப்ளிகபிலிட்டி, இந்த ஆக்ட் எதுக்கு மேம் அப்ளை ஆகும்? Very simple. Companies Act will apply to companies. LLP Act will apply to LLP. Partnership will apply to partnership firms. Then Contract Act should apply for all contracts. Whether you enter into a contract in electronic mode or you enter into a contract in, let's say, writing, whatever contract it is, if it is a contract, the Contract Act will govern it. It is applicable to all types of contract. And the next is commencement. என்னையிலேருந்து இந்த ஆக்ட் அப்ளிகபிளா இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா ரெண்டு விஷயம் இங்க இருக்கு. ஒன் இஸ் கால் enactment date, another is called commencement date. enactment அப்படின்னா என்னைக்கு இந்த ஆக்டை நம்ம பாஸ் பண்ணோம், 25th April 1872. ஆனா இன்னைக்கு ஆக்ட் பாஸ் ஆயிருக்கு, இன்ஆக்ட் ஆயிருக்குன்னா இன்னைக்கே அதை அப்ளை பண்ண முடியாது. we have to put it in the official gazette, right? all procedures are there, so அது கொஞ்சம் டைம் எடுக்கும்ல. so though the Indian Contract Act was enacted on, it was ready on 25th April 1872, மக்களுக்கு அது என்னைக்கு அப்ளை ஆச்சு, 1st September 1872 லேருந்து. Are you able to understand? Not very much important from examination point of view, still for knowledge sake you have to know this. So section number 1 talks about how many things, guys? Section number 1 talks about 4 things. It talks about first the short title. The short title is Indian Contract Act 1872. Second, it talks about what? ரெண்டாவது எதை பத்தி பேசுது? Second thing, it talks about the extent. It extends to whole of India. It extends to whole of India. மூணாவது எதை பத்தி பேசுது? applicability. எதுக்கெல்லாம் இந்த Indian Contract Act apply ஆகும்? It applies to all types of contract. And then it talks about commencement. commencementல ரெண்டு டேட் இருக்கு. enactment date, என்னைக்கு அது ரெடி ஆச்சு, commencement date, என்னையிலேருந்து மக்களுக்கு it will be applicable. It was ready on 25th April 1872. மக்களுக்கு it became applicable on 1st September 1872. இந்த part புரிஞ்சுச்சப்பா? Section 1 done and dusted. Section 1 done. It talks about short title, extent, applicability, commencement. Okay. Next, moving on to the main thing. மூணு important definition நம்ம clear-ஆ புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டாதான் it sets the tone for unit number 1. மூணு விஷயம் இருக்கு. Promise, agreement, contract. Promise is defined in section 2 clause B, agreement in section 2 clause E, and contract in section 2 clause H. அடுத்த 10 minutesல நம்மளோட objective இந்த மூணு definitions புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டு we'll have to move forward because this is the base for unit number 1. Okay, let me start with one example. I'll keep developing it. As you understand, give me a thumbs up. இப்போ let's say I and let's say there is Preeti. I and Preeti, we work in a company together. I and Preeti, we work in a company. இப்போ என்கிட்ட பைக்கு கார் எதுவுமே இல்லை, ஆனா பிரீத்தி கிட்ட she has a car. So ஒரு நாள் we are working, we have some audit to complete, so அதனால ரொம்ப லேட் ஆயிடுச்சு, நைட்டு ஒரு 11 PM ஆயிடுச்சு. So I asked Preeti, can you please drop me? என்னை வீட்டில் ட்ராப் பண்ணிடுறியா அப்படின்னு நான் பிரீத்தி கிட்ட கேட்குறேன். பிரீத்தி says இதுல என்ன மேம் இருக்கு, let's go அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு we both go together. Here Preeti is giving me a service, correct? She's dropping me at my home. But you tell me, we both are colleagues, we work together. நான் அவளுக்கு அதுக்கு பதிலா காசு கொடுப்பேனா? You think I'll pay her? Will I pay Preeti? The answer is no. I'll not pay her. We both are friends, we are colleagues, we work in the same company. Night or naal late ஆயிடுச்சு. She has a car, she told she'll drop me. I asked her, Preeti, can you please drop me? Okay, I made an offer. Preeti, can you please drop me? She said, okay ma'am, I'll drop you. But you tell me, is there any consideration here? No. So what happened between me and Preeti is just a promise. I asked Preeti, I asked her, can you please drop me? Preeti accepted it. I asked her, can you please drop me? Preeti accepted it. Did I pay anything to her? No, it's just a promise. Right? But இதுவே Iduve, what is an agreement? What is an agreement? An agreement is nothing but, let's say, a father tells to a son that if you clear your CA foundation in first attempt, I will pay you 10,000 rupees. So here if you see, there's an offer. If this guy clears his CA foundation in the first attempt, father will give how much? 10,000. இப்போ இங்க ரெண்டு பேருக்குமே கன்சிடரேஷன் இருக்கா? இருக்குன்னு தான் மேம் நினைக்கிறோம். ஏன்னா ஃபாதருக்கு வந்து என்ன கிடைக்குது? சன் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அட்டெம்ப்ட்ல பாஸ் ஆயிடுறான். சன்னுக்கு என்ன கிடைக்குது? 10,000 ரூபாய் கேஷ் ரிவார்டு. ஸோ ரெண்டு பேருக்குமே என்ன இருக்கு? They have something in return. Do they have a consideration? பட் நாளைக்கு இந்த பையன் சிஏ ஃபவுண்டேஷன்ல பாஸ் ஆயிட்டான். ஆனா அவங்க அப்பா இல்ல இப்போ என்கிட்ட காசு இல்ல கொடுக்க முடியாது அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னா, கேன் தட் சன் go and file a case against the father? Go and file a case against the father? No. No. Why no? Here the consideration is also there. No. There's offer plus acceptance plus consideration also. No. Why he cannot go? Because ma'am, this is a social agreement. Though there was offer, the father made an offer. If you clear your CA foundation in first attempt, I will give you 10,000 rupees. Offer is there. The son told, yes, I'll work hard. He accepted the offer. And both are getting consideration also. But still, this is not a contract. This is only an agreement. Why? Because there is no intention to create legal obligation. There's no intention. The son did not think, நாளைக்கு மட்டும் அப்பா எனக்கு இந்த காசை கொடுக்கலனா நான் இவரை பத்தி போய் கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ணுவேன். I'll file a case against him. Did the son think that? No, there was no intention to create a legal obligation. அதனால இது என்னவா மட்டும்தான் இருக்கும்? Agreement. In fact, இன்னும் டீப்பா நம்ம போனோம்னா, this agreement is known as a social agreement. இந்த agreementல என்ன மிஸ்ஸிங்? Intention to create legal obligation. இங்க சன்னுக்கு யார் மேல கேஸ் போடணுங்கிற இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இல்ல. அப்பா மேல நாளைக்கு அவர் காசு கொடுக்கலனா கேஸ் போடணுங்கிற இன்டென்ஷன் கிடையாது. அதே மாதிரி if you remember, we did a case law, Balfour versus Balfour. You remember? The husband promised the wife, I will give you how much? I will give you, let's say, 100 pounds of maintenance every month. Right? And the husband moved for his work to Ceylon. The wife was staying in Europe. He kept sending the maintenance. 4-5 மாசத்துக்கு மெயின்டெனன்ஸ் அமிச்சிட்டு இருந்தான். அந்த எவ்வளவு பவுண்ட் அவன் சொன்னானோ, 100 பவுண்ட் சொன்னானோ, 100 பவுண்ட மாசம் அமிச்சிட்டு இருந்தான். ஆனா 4-5 மாசம் கழிச்சு he stopped sending the 100 pounds. When the wife filed a case against the husband saying that அவன் எனக்கு ப்ராமிஸ் பண்ணா, எனக்கு கன்சிடரேஷன் கொடுப்பேன் ப்ராமிஸ் பண்ணா, ஆனா இப்போ கொடுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறான், I want to file a case more. The court was very clear. They asked the wife, when you entered into this particular arrangement, did you have an intention to create legal obligation? Did you have an intention to create legal obligation? நாளைக்கு இவன் குடுக்கலனா கோர்ட்டுக்கு வரணும்ங்கற உனக்கு இன்டென்ஷன் இருந்ததா? Wife says, no, I didn't think about all of that. He was my husband. I thought he will give. So court is telling, we are sorry. This is an agreement. We agree. There was an offer, there was acceptance, there was a consideration of 100 pounds. We agree. But there was no intention to create a legal obligation. So this remains an agreement. It does not become a contract. And clearly in section number 1, I taught you, Contract Act is applicable to only all types of contract. Are you able to understand? Are you able to understand? So there are 3 terminologies, guys. Promise. When you make an offer, somebody accepts it. It's a promise. You propose to a girl, she accepts. You make an offer, she accepted. It's a promise. Tomorrow, let's say she breaks up with you. You cannot go and complain in the police station. She broke up with me. She told she'll marry me. No. It's offer plus acceptance. There is no consideration. There is no intention to create legal obligation. A promise is only offer plus acceptance. Section 2 clause B. An agreement is section 2 clause E, where there's promise plus consideration. Promise is nothing but offer plus acceptance plus consideration. Then it becomes an agreement. But when will it ultimately become a contract? Only when there is an agreement plus enforceability. Right? Enforceability means you need to have the intention to create a legal obligation. Tomorrow, if any party, any 2 of us do not fulfill our obligation, we breach the contract, we will go to the court. And the intention, it's a contract. So an agreement becomes contract only when it is enforceable by law. And what is enforceable by law? அப்படின்னா there's an intention to create legal obligation. நாளைக்கு ஏதோ ஒன்று தப்பா நடந்ததுன்னா கோர்ட்டுக்கு போய் நான் நியாயம் கேட்பேன், I will fight for it in the courtங்கிற இன்டென்ஷன் நம்ம 2 பேருக்கும் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, then there's an intention to create legal obligation. When agreements meets enforceability, it becomes a contract. Is that absolutely clear, guys? Is that absolutely clear? Section 2 clause B is what? Promise. Section 2 clause E is what? Agreement. Section 2 clause H is what? Contract. Are you able to remember also? I want you to quickly make a rough note, okay? Make sure if you have the notes also, make sure you have a running note, a rough note inside of you. You keep writing it with me, otherwise you will lose track. Okay? Perfect, superb. Next is what? Next is, ma'am, when can I go to the court? When your contract is valid. When can you go to the court? When your contract is valid. When will my contract be valid? Only when you fulfill the following conditions. There are some 9 to 10 conditions we have told. Only when you fulfill all these conditions, you will be allowed to go to the court. கோர்ட்டுக்கு எப்போ போக முடியும்? உன் கான்ட்ராக்ட் வேலிடா இருந்தா கோர்ட்டுக்கு போக முடியும். கான்ட்ராக்ட் எப்போ வேலிடா இருக்கும்? இந்த நாங்க கொடுத்திருக்கிற 9-10 கண்டிஷனை ஃபுல்ஃபில் பண்ணாதான் அது ஒரு வேலிட் கான்ட்ராக்ட். வேலிட் கான்ட்ராக்ட்னா தான் எதுக்கு போக முடியும்? கோர்ட்டுக்கு போக முடியும். அதுல முதல் கண்டிஷன் என்னது? The first condition is ஒரு கான்ட்ராக்ட்ல அட்லீஸ்ட் எத்தனை பேர் இருக்கணும்? 2 பேர் இருக்கணும். நான் என்னோடய கான்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணிக்கவா? That means people call me mental, lunatic, பைத்தியம். I cannot contract with myself. Right? I need at least one more person to enter into a contract. So there needs to be at least 2 parties to enter into a valid contract. அதுதான் முதல் கண்டிஷன். ஒரு கான்ட்ராக்ட் வேலிடா இருக்கணும்னா அதுல அட்லீஸ்ட் 2 பேராச்சும் இருக்கணும். Okay, an offeror and offeree, a promisor and promisee should be there. Then only it can become a valid contract. ரெண்டாவது, கான்ட்ராக்ட்ல என்டர் பண்றவங்களுக்கு கம்பீட்டன்சி இருக்கணும், தகுதி இருக்கணும் to enter into a contract. And யாருக்கு கம்பீட்டன்சி இருக்கு? If you satisfy 3 conditions. When will you have competency? When you satisfy 3 conditions. அந்த 3 conditions என்னங்கிறது எதுல கொடுத்திருக்காங்க? Section 11. Section 11 talks about capacity to contract, competency of parties to enter into a contract. அது என்ன சொல்லுதுன்னா, ஒரு கான்ட்ராக்ட்ல என்டர் பண்ணுனா நீ 3 கண்டிஷன் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபை பண்ணும். முதல் கண்டிஷன், you should be of sound mind. sound mindனா என்னது? கான்ட்ராக்ட என்டர் பண்ணும்போது எந்த பேப்பரை சைன் பண்றோம், என்ன டேர்ம்ஸ் அண்ட் கண்டிஷன்ஸ் ஒத்துக்கிறோம் அப்படிங்கிறது புரியுற அளவுக்கு உனக்கு என்ன இருக்கணும்? மைண்ட் ஸ்டேபிளா இருக்கணும். Right? நீ ஒரு பைத்தியமா இருக்க, or you are drunk, you cannot understand the terms and conditions. அப்போ if you enter into a contract, it is not a valid contract. When you enter into a contract, you should be of sound mind. ரெண்டாவது, you should be of the age of majority. A minor cannot enter into a contract. You should be of the age of majority. An age of majority na enna? 18 வயசு இல்ல அதுக்கு மேல உனக்கு இருந்தாதான் நீ என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? You can enter into a valid contract. மூணாவது, you should not be disqualified by law. You should not be disqualified by law. So 3 things. Section number 11 says that only when you are competent you can enter into a contract. Yaar competent? When you are of sound mind, when you are of the age of majority, and you are not disqualified by law. Detail about this we will discuss in unit number 3. Ippatiki you just have to know these 3 conditions. Is this clear, people? Is this clear? First condition, to have a valid contract, there must be 2 parties. Second condition, to have a valid contract, you must be competent. Section 11 says that to have a valid contract, you must be competent. But who is competent? 3 condition fulfill பண்ணு. முதல் condition, age of majority. ரெண்டாவது condition, மூளை கரெக்டா இருக்கணும், sound mind. மூணாவது condition, you should not be disqualified by law. Right? And the next thing is, to have a valid contract, there should be lawful consideration and lawful object. I cannot tell, I will pay you 10,000 rupees, kill Mr. Aman. This is not a valid contract. The objective to kill someone, it's not valid. Or give me your house, I will in return pay the consideration, some in cash, some in drugs. No, your consideration is unlawful. Your consideration also has to be lawful. Your objective also has to be lawful. நான் காசு கொடுக்கறேன் அவனை கொலை பண்ணிடு. No. Right? Your objective is not lawful. Therefore, it's not a valid contract. நாளைக்கு அவன் உன்கிட்ட காசு வாங்கிட்டு கொலை பண்ணலனா உன்னால கோர்ட்ல போய் சொல்ல முடியாது, நான் 1 லட்சம் ரூபாய் கொடுத்து இவனை கொலை பண்ண சொன்னேன், இவன் பண்ணல, அந்த 1 லட்சம் ரூபாய் திரும்பி கொடுக்க சொல்லுங்க. கோர்ட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் உன்னை ஜெயில போடுவாங்க. How can you enter into such a contract? How can you tell somebody to kill someone? You had an unlawful objective. Your contract should have a lawful consideration and a lawful objective. நாலாவது பாயிண்ட், கான்ட்ராக்ட் என்டர் பண்ணும்போது there should be free consent. There should be free consent. First of all, free consent, like consent na enna puriyum. Consent na when 2 people agree to the same thing in the same sense. In law we also call it meeting of minds. In law we also call it meeting of minds. Appadina, let's say I'm coming and telling that I want to sell my car, okay, to let's say Vignesh. I want to sell my car to Vignesh. இப்போ என்கிட்ட ரெண்டு கார் இருக்கு. லெட்ஸ் சே என்கிட்ட ஒரு ஹோண்டா சிட்டி இருக்கு, இன்னொன்னு என்கிட்ட லெட்ஸ் சே ஒரு ஆடி இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கோ. ஒரு ஹோண்டா சிட்டி இருக்கு, ஒரு ஆடி இருக்கு. நான் எந்த காரை விற்கிறத பத்தி பேசுறேன்? ஹோண்டா சிட்டி. ஆனா விக்னேஷ் என்ன நினைச்சுக்கிறான்? ஆடி. We are agreeing to the same thing about buying and selling cars தான். We are agreeing to the same thing, but not in the same sense. When you want to enter into a valid contract, you have to not just have consideration, you have to not just have lawful objective lawful consideration. Competent party mattu irundha podadu, two parties or more mattu irundha podadu, there should also be free consent. Free consent la first consent na enna? Two people agreeing to the same thing in the same sense. நான் சொன்ன எக்ஸாம்பிள்ல நாங்க ரெண்டு பேருமே காரை வாங்குறது விற்கிறத பத்தி தான் ஒத்துக்கிட்டோம். பட் நான் பேசுறது ஹோண்டா சிட்டி, விக்னேஷ் பேசுறது என்ன காரு? ஆடி. We are agreeing to the same thing தான். வாங்குறது விற்கிறது of car, yes, but not in the same sense. And consentக்கு ஒரு லாட்டின் ஃப்ரேஸும் இருக்கு, consensus ad idem. கன்சென்ட்க்கு ஒரு லாட்டின் ஃப்ரேஸும் இருக்கு, consensus ad idem. நம்ம கான்ட்ராக்ட் வேலிடா இருக்கிறதுக்கு கன்சென்ட் இருந்தா மட்டும் போதாது. கன்சென்ட் என்னவா இருக்கணும்? ஃப்ரீயா இருக்கணும். Sections, if we revise, consent is given in section number 13, free consent is defined in section number 14. Consent is 13, free consent is 14. மேம் கன்சென்ட் எனக்கு புரிஞ்சிச்சு மேம். ரெண்டு பேரும் ஒரே விஷயத்தை பத்தி ஒரே இதுல டேர்ம்ஸ் அண்ட் கண்டிஷன்ஸ் எல்லாருமே ரெண்டு பேருமே ஒரே மாதிரி புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். ஆஃபரார் அண்ட் ஆஃபரி வந்து டேர்ம்ஸ் அண்ட் கண்டிஷன்ஸ் ஒரே மாதிரி புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். எஸ், yes, you are absolutely correct. But consent இருந்தா மட்டும் போதாது. You also need a free consent. When is consent said to be free? When it is not obtained by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation and mistake. Your consent is said to be free when it is not obtained by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation and mistake. Right? Sections, if we have to quickly revise, coercion is 15, undue influence is 16, fraud is 17, misrepresentation is 18. And there's also one more section, mistake. Right? So quickly, if I see the sections, till now, how many sections did I teach you? Definitions, I taught you 3 definitions. Do you remember? 2B. 2B is for what, guys? 2B is for, ma'am, we know, ma'am. 2B is for what? 2B. 2B is for promise. 2B is for promise. Very good, very good. 2B is for promise. What is 2H for? Ma'am, 2H, we know, ma'am. Very simple. 2H is for contract. 2H is for contract. And 2E is for agreement. 2E is for agreement. Perfect, perfect. Right? 2E is for agreement. Fantastic. These are the definition sections that we studied. Section number 11 talks about what? Section 11. Section 11. It's right in front of your screen. Section 11 talks about competency to enter into a contract. Who are competent parties? Who are competent parties? Who are of sound mind, age of majority, not disqualified by law. Somebody asked me what is not disqualified by law. We will discuss in detail in unit number 3. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay? We'll discuss in detail in unit number 3. I'll revise. It's there, so don't worry. Then we studied section number 13. 13 is for what? Section 13 is for consent. Section 14 is for free consent. Consent இருந்தா மட்டும் போதாது. என்னவாவும் இருக்கணும் அது? ஃப்ரீயாவும் இருக்கணும். Section 14 is for free consent. When is consent said to be free? Ma'am, consent is free when it is not obtained by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation and mistake. Coercion section 15, undue influence section 16, fraud section 17 and misrepresentation section 18. Is that clear, people? Is that clear? Yethana section we are able to remember. See, are you clear? Perfect. And section number 1 to you know, it talks about 3 things. It talks about 4 things. It talks about short title, extent, applicability and commencement. Absolutely clear till here? Everything under control? Can we move forward? Perfect. Next is, ma'am, consent is said to be free when it is not obtained by abdina consent coercion ala vaangi irukka kodadu. Yes, coercion na enna? Putting physical pressure. Othana gun point la vechittu you are telling enter into the contract or I will press the trigger. அவன் என்ன அவனுக்கு உனக்கு வீட விக்கிறதுல ஆசையே கிடையாது. மிஸ்டர் ஏ இஸ் நாட் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டட் டு செல் யூ த ஹவுஸ். யூ ஆர் பாயிண்டிங் அ கன் அட் ஹிம் அண்ட் டெல்லிங் தட் சைன் த பேப்பர்ஸ் ஆர் ஐ வில் பிரஸ் த ட்ரிகர். அவனுக்கு உனக்கு விக்கிறதுல இஷ்டமே கிடையாது. he does not have consent. ஆனா நீ அவனோட சிக்னேச்சர் வாங்கிட்ட. எப்படி? by exercising coercion. physical pressure, or you're doing undue influence. I'm a teacher, you're a student. Right? I'm a teacher, you're a student. I'm telling that only if you give your car to me, I will pass an exam. I'm in a dominating position. I'm a teacher, you're a student. I'm dominating position, you're weaker position. You're using that dominating position. I'm using that dominating position to get an unfair advantage. I'm influencing you, undue influence, where you're putting emotional pressure on the person. I'm telling, better you transfer the car to me. Otherwise, you will see this 4 letters. You transfer the car, you will see password distinction. What am I doing? I'm using my dominating position to get an unfair advantage. This is called undue influence. If any contract is entered by undue influence, it's not a valid contract because that party's consent was not free. Given an option, உனக்கு அந்த காரை எனக்கு விக்கணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை. Given an option, மிஸ்டர் ஏக்கு அந்த வீடை என்னோட பேர்ல விக்கணுங்கிற அவசியம் இல்லை. பட் நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கேஸ்ல மிஸ்டர் ஏவை கன் பாயிண்ட்ல வச்சு அந்த வீட்டை என் பேர்ல டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் பண்ணேன். செகண்ட் கேஸ்ல நான் உன்னை பிரஷர் போட்டு, because I have the dominating position, நான் நினைச்சா I can make you pass, நான் நினைச்சா I can make you fail. I used my dominating position to get an unfair advantage. That is called undue influence. And third is fraud. I'm selling you a phone. It's a duplicate version of an Apple iPhone. I'm telling you, no, this is original, 100% original, but no, it's made in China. I'm selling it to you. I know it is the duplicate phone. I know it's not the original version. Still, I'm selling it to you. Fraud. I have an intention to cheat. I have an intention to deceive. We don't call it cheat, we call it deceive. I have an intention to deceive. That is fraud. Misrepresentation. இங்கேயும் let's say நான் உனக்கு சைனாவோட ஒரு மாடல் போனை தான் தெரியாம வித்துட்டேன். ஆனா நானே இதை யார்கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கினேனோ அவன் எனக்கு என்ன சொன்னா, இது ஒரிஜினல் தான், இட்ஸ் மேனுஃபேக்சர்ட் இன் US only அப்படின்னு அவன் என்கிட்ட சொன்னான். அதை நம்பி நான் உனக்கு கமிட் பண்ணி I have sold it to you. Right here, it's misrepresentation. ஏன்னா உன்னை ஏமாத்தணுங்கிற இன்டென்ஷன் எனக்கு கிடையாது. பட் நான் எந்த டீலர் கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கினோ, he told me this is actually manufactured from USA. அதை நம்பி I told that facts to you. இங்கேயும் நான் சொன்ன facts தப்பு தான். I have misrepresented something தான். நான் சொன்னது உண்மைன்னு சொல்ல, நான் சொன்னது பொய் தான். ஆனா நானே அது உண்மைன்னு தான் நினைச்சேன். I thought it was manufactured in US, but it was not manufactured. Are you able to understand misrepresentation? Are you able to understand misrepresentation? Absolutely clear, right? So if your consent is obtained by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, or mistake, it's not a valid contract because your consent was not free, right? And if your consent is obtained by coercion, undue influence, fraud, or misrepresentation, the contract is voidable. Don't worry, what is voidable? We will read it in the next part. In types of contract, we will read it. Don't worry. Okay. Next is to enter into the contract, the parties must have an intention to create legal obligation. Just now I explained you Balfour versus Balfour. Right? Intention இருக்கணும். Contract enter பண்ணும்போதே நாளைக்கு நீனோ நானோ ஏதோ breach பண்ணோம்னா நான் கோர்ட்டுக்கு போவேங்கிற intention இருக்கணும். Then only it's a valid contract. Otherwise it's just an agreement. Right? And next is there should be certainty of meaning. I'm asking Jasir, you want to buy my house? Jasir is like, ma'am, are you mad? Buy your house means where is your house? I'm telling Jasir my house is in T Nagar. Jasir is again asking, ma'am, are you mad? T Nagar is such a big area, 100 kilometers it is spread across. Which house, which area, which street you have? I told Jasir in street number 18, I have this apartment called ABC apartment. In that, in third floor, I have one house which is for 3 BHK, 1000 square feet. Do you want to purchase it for 1 crore rupees? Now this is a contract. Every terms and conditions are clearly mentioned. There should be certainty of meaning. You cannot tell you want to buy my house. Which house? Where is the house? Okay, how many floors? Does it have swimming pool in that? How will I know? Your contract should be certain, definite. Clear-ஆ சொல்லு. எந்த வீடு? Do you want to buy the car? Yes. Which car? Which model? எத்தனை கிலோமீட்டர் ஓடி இருக்கு? எவ்வளவுக்கு வாங்குவேன்? எல்லாத்தையும் clear-ஆ mention பண்ணு. Only then it is a valid contract. Just telling, I want to sell my house. Do you want to buy? Which house? Who's going to know the terms and conditions? That's not a valid contract. Right? So there should be certainty of meaning. Your contract should be certain, definite, and not vague. Is that clear, people? Right? Next is there should be a possibility of performance. You cannot enter into a contract saying, give me 10 lakh rupees. I will make a dead person alive. Is that even logically possible? Or I'm telling you, give me 1 crore rupees. I will teach you entire CA foundation law in one day. Is that even possible? No. You gave me that amount. I cannot teach. How you can teach? How we can teach 100 hours content in one day? Not possible. There's no possibility of performance. I cannot tell that, give me 10 lakh rupees. I will, make a dead person alive. Such contracts don't exist. Right? I will make you contact with a dead person. Such contracts do not exist. There's no possibility of performance. Ada meeri nee contract enter pannina neenda lose. Don't you understand that it's not possible to do that? That's your fault. The Contract Act says that when you enter into the contract, see whether it is possible to perform or not. The next condition is it should not be expressly declared as void. Again, the detailed will be discussed in unit number 3. For now, there are some contracts which are declared as void. அப்படினா Contract Act சொல்லுது இந்த மாதிரி contract enter பண்ண கூடாது. What kind of contract those are? Contract of restricting somebody from doing a marriage. You cannot get a contract signed from Jasir where I say, Jasir, I will give you 1 crore rupees. You're never supposed to get married. He will sign it, take the 1 crore, and with that 1 crore itself do a destination wedding. I cannot do anything about it because Act is clearly telling you cannot enter into a contract where you stop somebody from getting married. No, that's not allowed. Though there are certain exceptions to that, which we'll read in unit number 3. For now, understand, you cannot restrict anybody from getting married. Adhe mari second, you cannot restrict anybody from doing any kind of trade. I cannot tell Jasir after he becomes a CA, hey, take 1 crore rupees, don't practice. Who am I to tell that? You cannot stop anybody from doing a business, a profession, no. And third is, I'm telling you, I file a document which says you will never file a case against me. No. Fighting for justice is my fundamental rights. You cannot tell me I cannot file a case. If injustice has happened to me, I'll go to the court. I'll fight for justice. You cannot get a contract signed from somebody which says that you cannot file a case against me. No. So restraint of marriage, restraint of trade, restraint of legal proceedings, not allowed. You cannot restrict somebody from getting married. You cannot restrict somebody from entering into a trade. You cannot restrict somebody from going for legal proceedings. If you are entering into such kind of contracts, be very clear. We have clearly told that is not valid. பண்ணக்கூடாது. நாளைக்கு ஏதோ பிரச்சனைனா கோர்ட் வாசல்ல வந்துராதீங்க. We will not help. Because நாங்க கிளியரா என்ன சொல்லிட்டோம், இந்த 3 டைப்ல என்டரே பண்ண கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டோம். And the last is any other formalities if required to be done, you have to do it. அப்படின்னா இன்சூரன்ஸ் கான்ட்ராக்ட் கிளியரா சொல்லுது. இன்சூரன்ஸ் கான்ட்ராக்ட் ரைட்டிங்ல தான் இருக்கணும். அப்படின்னா ரைட்டிங்ல தான் இருக்கும். You cannot tell that I will have it in oral. நாங்க ஓரலா ஒத்துக்கிட்டோம், நாங்க வாட்ஸ்அப் மெசேஜ் அனுப்பிச்சோம். We clearly told it should be stamped. We clearly told it should be in writing. Then it should be like that only. If other formalities have to be fulfilled, you have to fulfill, then only your contract is valid. You cannot tell that எனக்கு தெரியவே தெரியாது insurance contract should be in writing. எனக்கு தெரியவே தெரியாது movable property should be in stamp paper. No. When we tell, it should be clear. When other formalities are given, formalities have to be complied with. Is that absolutely clear, people? Is that absolutely clear? Okay, can we quickly just go through it? I'll just quickly scroll through it, make sure that you see and tick, okay? I'll just hide myself, quickly scroll through the 9, just see and confirm that you're clear and we'll move forward. Done, guys? Done, people? Okay. Let's move on to the next category, types of contract. Contract is broadly divided into, first வந்து valid, void அப்படின்னு 2 வார்த்தை இருக்கு. Valid contract அப்படின்னா என்னன்னா, நீ மேல ஒரு 9 கண்டிஷன் படிச்சல, anything that satisfy these 9 conditions, anything that satisfies these 9 conditions. இந்த மேல எழுதிக்கிற 9 கண்டிஷனையும் நீ satisfy பண்ணிட்ட அப்படினா உன்னோட contract என்னது? It is a valid contract. When a contract fulfills all the essentials of a valid contract, it is valid. நாளைக்கு உன்னோட ஏதோ தப்பா நடக்குதா, எவனோ பிரீச் பண்றானா, கோர்ட்டுக்கு போ. Court will tell what to do. You have every right to go because you have a valid contract. You have it. You have fulfilled all the formalities. It is between 2 parties. The consent was free. Okay, there was consideration. Everything was there. So you can go to the court. Right? So that's a valid contract. இப்போ valid அவ்வளோ பெரிய மேட்டர் கிடையாது. மெயினா void தான் very very important from exam also. Voidல வந்து ரெண்டா பிரியுது. Void agreement and void contract. Void agreement அப்படினா என்ன அப்படினா, void agreementனா என்னன்னா, அக்ரிமெண்ட் பேரே பாரு, void agreement. அது என்னவாவே மாறல, கான்ட்ராக்டாவே மாறல. ஏன் மேம் கான்ட்ராக்டா மாறல? ஏன்னா எசென்ஷியல்ல ஏதோ ஒன்று மிஸ்ஸிங்கா இருந்திருக்கும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், என்டரிங் இன்டு அ அக்ரிமெண்ட் வித் அ மைனர். To enter into a contract, he should be a person who has competency. கம்பீட்டன்சில முதல் பாயிண்ட் என்னது? ஏஜ் ஆஃப் மெஜாரிட்டி. உனக்கு 18 வயசுக்கு மேல இருந்தாதான் அவனோட நீ என்ன பண்ணணும்? You should enter into a agreement. Only then the agreement will become a contract. அவனுக்கு 18 years ஓட கம்மியா இருக்கு, அவனோட போய் நீ என்ன பண்ணிருக்க? நீ அக்ரிமெண்ட் என்டர் பண்ணிருக்க. அது அக்ரிமெண்டாவே இருக்குமே தவிர அது என்னவாவே மாறாது, கான்ட்ராக்டாவே மாறாது. A void agreement is an agreement that is not enforceable by law. கோர்ட்ல போய் நிக்க முடியாது. Court will ask you, why did you enter into an arrangement with a minor? Right? So a void agreement is void from the very beginning. It's known as void ab initio. The Latin maxim is void ab initio. It is not enforceable. That agreement is not enforceable. And only when agreement is enforceable, you know it becomes a contract. Here it is an agreement that is not enforceable by law. Defined under section 2, clause G. So far we have studied 2B, 2E, 2H. Add one more now, 2G, which is void agreement. 2G is void agreement. And 2J, 2G. Usually students confuse ஆயிடுவாங்க. Be very clear. 2G is for void agreement. 2J is for void contract. Void contract na என்ன அப்படினா, நீ enter ஆகும்போது அது perfectா இருந்தது. When you entered into the contract, for example, I'll give you another example different from what I gave in class. Let's say I, Deepika, I go to Chetan Bhagat. He's a writer. He's an author, right? I go to Chetan Bhagat to write a book for me. Let's say love fiction. Okay? I go to him to write a book, a love fiction. I tell him that you have to write a book for me. He also agreed. He started writing. We entered into the contract on 10th June 2026. When we entered into the contract, all essentials were fulfilled. 2 parties, me and Chetan Bhagat, 2 parties. Okay, are we of the age of majority? Yes. Okay, I am also 18 plus, he is also 18 plus. Sound mind, not disqualified by law. Was there an intention to create legal obligation? Yes. Everything was satisfied. All the conditions were satisfied. But as he was writing the book, he completed the first chapter. By 20th of June, he had a heart attack. And Chetan Bhagat died. Now you tell me, does this contract exist anymore? Does this contract exist anymore? No. The person itself is dead. The person who was writing the book, Chetan Bhagat, he itself died. When you entered into the contract, it was valid. All the conditions were satisfied. But then something happened because of which it has now become void. Now the Chetan Bhagat, the writer itself does not exist. What will I do? 2 parties, 1 party is not there. What will I do? Contract becomes void. Ma'am, this is not a void agreement. No, because when you entered, it was absolutely valid. It fulfilled all the 9 conditions. It was a valid contract. But later, something happened because of which it ceases to be enforceable by law. A contract, a void contract is a contract which ceases to be enforceable by law. Which ceases to be enforceable by law. Right? When you entered initially, everything was perfect. After that, something happened because of which it has become void. Because of which it has become void. Is that clear, people? Is that clear? Can we do a quick section revision? 2B is for promise. 2B is for promise. Oh, sorry, I'm hidden. Wait. 2B is for promise. 2E is for agreement. 2H is for contract. Then when it comes to void, remember there are two. 2G, 2J, 2G, 2J. 2G is for what? 2G is for void agreement. 2G is void agreement. 2J is void contract. See how many sections we did so far? Just in definition, we have learned how much? We have learned 5. We learned more today, but we have learned 5 for now. Is that clear? Are you getting grip? Don't worry, I'll revise it 200 times. I'll make your every cell remember contract act. Don't worry. Okay? Can you please show 2B, 2H notes? A, I already uploaded notes in Telegram. Just check that once, okay? I already uploaded the notes in Telegram. Open that also if you have it. Okay, don't worry. After the session, I'll send it in your WhatsApp groups also. Don't worry. Next is voidable contract. What do you mean by a voidable contract? A voidable contract is a contract which is enforceable at the option of the aggrieved party. At the option of the aggrieved party. Ma'am, imppadina enna ma'am abdina? Remember, we put Mr. A in gunpoint and got his consent. We put Mr. A in gunpoint and got his consent. I pointed at the gun at Mr. A and told, if you don't sign the papers of that house, if you don't transfer it in my name, what will I do? I'll press the trigger. And the வீட்டோட documents என் பேர்ல transfer பண்றதுக்கு நீ sign போடல அப்படினா I'll press the trigger. Here I consent was obtained, அவன் sign போட்டான், but consent was not free because coercion was exercised. Here in this case, I exercised coercion on whom? Mr. A. So Mr. A is the aggrieved party. Mr. A is the aggrieved party. Aggrieved party na paavapatta janmam. Aggrieved party. Paavam. Sad. Aggrieved party. In case ஒரு கான்ட்ராக்ட்ல இந்த மாதிரி அக்ரீவ்டு பார்ட்டி பாவமா யாருக்கோ அநியாயம் நடந்திருக்கு அந்த மாதிரி அக்ரீவ்டா யாரோ இருக்கு அப்படின்னா நீ கோர்ட்டுக்கு போய் ஹே ஜட்ஜ் லிசன் மை கன்சென்ட் was not free. இவன் இந்த தீபிகா என்ன கன் பாயிண்ட்ல போட்டு தான் வாங்கினா அதனால தான் நான் சைன் பண்ணேன். ஆர் அவ வந்து என்ன என்கிட்ட என்ன சொன்னாங்க, only if you give the car to me I will clear you in the exam. She exercised undue influence. என்ன fraud என்கிட்ட பொய் சொல்லி அந்த ஐட்டத்தை விட்டா அப்படின்னு if you go and prove it in the court will tell the contract will become void. அப்படினா மேம் voidable அப்படினா it can in the future become void. Yes, but who can make it void? Aggrieved party. Aggrieved party நாளைக்கு கோர்ட்ல போய் ஹே லார்ட் லிசன், ஹே மிஸ்டர் ஜட்ஜ் லிசன், என்னோட கன்சென்ட் ஃப்ரீ இல்ல, இவ அன்டியூ இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணா, இவ கோவர்ஷன் எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணா, இவ பொய் சொல்லி வித்தா, ஃப்ராட் பண்ணா, மிஸ்ரெப்ரசன்டேஷன் பண்ணா அப்படின்னு if you go and prove in the court, the contract will become void. That means a contract, a voidable contract is a contract which is able to become void at the option of the aggrieved party. It is able to become void at the option of the aggrieved party. Section 2I, voidable. Ma'am, அப்போ Mr. A கோர்ட்டுக்கு போகாத வரைக்கும் அது வரைக்கும் வேலிடா இருக்கும். அதான் இங்க கொடுத்திருக்கு. Look at this summary chart. What do you mean by a voidable contract? Section 2 clause I says, voidable means it's enforceable at the option of the aggrieved party. Ma'am, அப்போ aggrieved party போகாத வரைக்கும் Ma'am, அப்ப aggrieved party போகாத வரைக்கும் it will remain valid. It will remain valid. Is that clear, people? Is that clear? Perfect. Okay. Next is, the contract is valid until the aggrieved party exercises the option. That's an important note, but I hope you have understood. Okay. The option must be exercised within reasonable time. And the option, in the aggrieved party, நீ 10 வருஷம் கழிச்சு வராத, 10 வருஷம் முன்னாடி தீபிகா கன் பாயிண்ட்ல வச்சா நானே அதுக்கப்புறம் போயிடுவேன். What if I die before that? So aggrieved party, reasonable time. அப்படின்னா கோர்ஷன் எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணிருக்கால ஒரு மாசத்துக்குள்ள வா, ரீசனபிள் டைம்குள்ள வா. 10 12 20 வருஷம் கழிச்சு வந்து 20 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி இந்த வீட்டை தீபிகா என்கிட்ட கோர்ஷன் எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணி வாங்கினா, court will be like, what the hell are you telling? How will you prove it today after 20 years? No. You can come aggrieved party, you can go to the court, but within reasonable time. Right? Is that clear, people? Is that clear? Absolutely clear. Right? So section wise pathana 2B, 2E, 2H, okay, 2G, 2J and 2I is for voidable. Absolutely clear. Absolutely clear. From now onwards, whenever you are quoting your answers, start adding these section numbers also. Okay? It will enhance your presentation. Right? Evidence needed? Yes, evidence is obviously needed. You have to prove. You have to prove that your consent was not free. Right? Next is Section 2 Clause A, offer. Section 2 Clause A, proposal or offer. What do you mean by a proposal or offer? I gave you an example. You remember? Abhijit, a star performer, he proposes to a girl. When Abhijit proposes to that girl, when one person, that is Abhijit, signifies to another, that is he proposes, he says to the girl, his willingness. Okay, you are here, Abhijit. Awesome. Okay. So, when one person, Abhijit, signifies to another, says to that girl, says to Tara, yes, says to Tara what? Says to Tara his willingness. He's willing to be his boyfriend. He's willing to be her he's willing to be his boyfriend. Okay, he's willing to be his boyfriend to do something. Now here Abhijit is proposing to do something, right? Abhijit is proposing to do something, to be her boyfriend, right? Or contract can also be, or offer can also be for not doing something. What do you mean by abstinence? To not do something. Not do something. Like, you remember the same example I told you a little differently? Now Abhijit, let's say he's dating a girl. Now that girl's brother calls Abhijit to one building's Motamadi and tells, take a blank check, leave my sister. Okay, leave my sister. Now here, the offer is being made to Abhijit to leave the sister, to not do something, to not date that girl. That is also offer. Right? Okay, when one person signifies to another his willingness to either do something or not to do something, or abstain from doing something. Why do I make an offer? So that I get the acceptance of the other person. That's exactly what is written here. Okay, abstain from doing anything with a view of obtaining the assent of the other person. It is said that he is making a offer. Offer is also known as proposal. Right? It is said that he is making a offer or proposal. Is that clear, people? Is that clear? Okay, so offer is defined under Section 2 Clause A. Section 2 Clause A. Right? And what are the essentials of a valid offer? Very, very simple. Okay, offer panamodu, there must be an intention of creating a legal obligation. Offer must be certain, definite, and not vague. You must clearly tell what is the offer for. Selling this particular car, Honda City car, which has run 10,000 kilometers. It's a second-hand car. I want to sell it for 3 lakh rupees. Be very clear with your offer. Your offer must be certain, definite, and not vague. And always offer is made. Always Abhijit proposes so that that girl will tell yes, that is his intention. Not that he has to get slipper beatings from that girl. Right? Whenever he proposes, what is the intention? To get acceptance. The girl also says, I love you too. Not to get slipper beatings, right? So, offer is always made with an intention to get the assent of the other person. Okay, proposal should only be made once. Yeah. Okay. Then it should be communicated to the offeree. Now, if Abhijit is proposing, you are proposing to the girl, you are proposing to Tara, you have to send her, you have to tell her. He's sending a message to Tara's best friend. Can you tell Tara that I love her? I cannot live without her. That friend is like, are you mad or what? You are proposing to that girl, you should go and tell the girl directly. Offer should be communicated to the offeree, not to someone else. And can offer be conditional? Yes, offer can be conditional. Offer can be conditional. Right? Which means, let's say I am renting a house. I am telling I'll rent my house only to vegetarians. Or I'll rent my house only to family, not to bachelors. I'm making an offer. Does anybody want my house for rent? But I'm putting a condition. I'll give it for rent only to a bachelor, only to vegetarians. Can offer be conditional? Yes. Okay, can offer be conditional? Yes. Okay. And offer can be either express or offer can be implied. Offer can be either express or offer can be implied. Nonsense things you talk in the chat, mad people. Okay, offer can be either express or implied. Either Abhijit can write a letter and give it to the girl, or kanle paathu they can even talk. Okay, it can be express or implied. Right? Okay, and your offer cannot have a term which says that non-compliance will lead to acceptance. Your offer cannot say that non-compliance will lead to acceptance. These are essentials of a valid offer. Very, very, very important. We have seen a couple of questions being asked from here. Quick on a definition, these call through pandra. Make sure that you read and finish it off. Yeah. More nonsense question get it chat. Done, people? Done, people? Okay. What are you guys talking nonsense? Come back. Come back. Now, next is types of offer. Types of offer. Only 5 more minutes. I'll complete it. Okay. Types of offer. Okay. Types of offer. What is the first type? General offer. What do you mean by general offer? When it is made to the public at large. Remember that advertisement I showed you? Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company. Do you remember that case law? That Carbolic Smoke Ball Company, they put an advertisement. You remember? Whoever consumes the smoke ball, okay, whoever consumes it in whichever manner we tell, தண்ணில கலந்து குடிக்கணும், காலையிலே குடிக்கணும், we'll tell some methods. அந்த மெத்தட்ல யார் இந்த ஸ்மோக் பாலை கன்சியூம் பண்றாங்களோ உங்களுக்கு இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸாவே வராது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு there was a big advertisement that we saw. Carlyle bought those smoke balls. அவளும் தண்ணில கலந்து குடி, சுடு தண்ணில கலந்து குடி, காலையில குடி, நைட்டு குடி, என்ன சொன்னானோ whatever they told, Carlyle did that. But did she still get influenza? Was she still attracted from the disease? Yes. Now Carlyle went to Carbolic Smoke Ball Company saying, இங்க பாரு நீ தானே சொன்ன இப்படி சாப்பிடுன்னு, அப்படி இதை சாப்பிட்டு உனக்கு இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸா வந்ததுன்னா நீ எவ்வளோ கொடுக்குறேன்னு சொன்ன, 100 pounds ரிவார்டாக கொடுக்குறேன்னு சொன்னால கொடு, நான் அதை சாப்பிட்ட பட் எனக்கு என்ன வந்துருச்சு, இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸா வந்துருச்சு. What did the smoke ball company say? Carlyle, who are you? We never entered into a contract with you. நாங்கள் உனக்கு கால் பண்ணி ஏதாவது சொன்னோமா, நம்ம ஏதாவது அக்ரிமெண்ட் சைன் பண்ணியிருக்கோமா? Carlyle was like, அப்படியெல்லாம் நம்ம எதுவும் பண்ணலாம்னா அந்த அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்ல நீங்க தானே எழுதியிருந்தீங்க, யாரெல்லாம் இந்த ஸ்மோக் பால்ல கன்சியூம் பண்றாங்களோ, யாரெல்லாம் நீங்க சொன்ன டைரக்ஷன்ஸை ஃபாலோ பண்றாங்களோ, அதை ஃபாலோ பண்ணி அவங்களுக்கு இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸா வந்ததுன்னா யூ வில் கிவ் அ ரிவார்டுன்னு. அப்போ எனக்கு ரிவார்ட் கொடுங்க. ஸ்மோக் பால் கம்பெனி டோல் கொடுக்க முடியாது. நாங்கள் உங்க கூட ஆஃபர் என்டர் பண்ணோமா, நீ யாருன்னு எங்களுக்கு தெரியாது, நாங்கள் ஒன்று இப்போ தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் பார்க்குறோம். Carlyle said, you guys are making a fool, I'll go to the court. Court sell the smoke ball company. Hey smoke ball company, நீ தானே advertisement கொடுத்த, நீ தானே சொன்ன whoever consumes the smoke ball in whatever manner we are telling, if you get influenza we will pay the reward ன்னு. அப்போ இப்போ எப்படிதான் வந்து நீ மாத்தி சொல்ற, அதெல்லாம் முடியாது. You are supposed to pay Carlyle. You are supposed to pay Carlyle because நீ அந்த newspaper advertisementல போட்டு reward ன்னு போட்டிருக்க. It's a general offer. Whoever purchased the smoke ball consumed it in the manner that you said, தண்ணில கலந்து குடி, காலையில குடி, நைட்டு குடி, whatever manner you said, if they have followed that, that means they have accepted the offer. Now if they have attracted the disease, you are supposed to repay them. You are supposed to repay them. You cannot tell நான் உன்கிட்ட வந்து ஆஃபர் பண்ண, இல்ல இது ஸ்பெசிபிக் ஆஃபர் கிடையாது, இது ஜெனரல் ஆஃபர். நீ ஒரு நியூஸ் பேப்பர் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட்ல ரிவார்டு கொடுப்போம்னு சொல்லியிருக்க. whoever accepted that, whoever followed those terms and conditions are deemed to have accepted the offer because it's a general offer made to the public at large. நாளைக்கு வெஸ்ட் சைட்ல ஒரு சேல் போடுறான் 50% ஆஃப், நீ கடைக்குள்ள போய் பில்லிங் கவுண்டர் போடுற, அவங்க சொல்றாங்க இல்ல சிஏ படிக்கவங்களுக்குலாம் ஆஃபர் கொடுக்க முடியாது, நீங்க வேணா நீட்டுக்கு படிங்க, அப்பதான் நாங்க வந்து ஆஃபர் கொடுப்போம். You're like, what the hell? You put 50% off. Did you put any terms and conditions? No. Anybody who comes to the shop purchases, they should also get 50% off. It's a general offer made to the public at large. Right? That's called a general offer. Correct opposite to a general offer is a specific offer, which is made to a specific person or a specific group of person, that is known as a specific offer. Right? And standing offer means what? Standing offer means like New Year's sale. It is open from last week of December till the first week of January. Open for 15 days. It's open for a specific duration. That's called a standing offer. Diwali sale opened for the Diwali season. Navaratri sale open for the 10-12 days of Navaratri. Right? Are you able to understand, people? Okay, general offer is the one that is made to the public at large. Specific offer is the one that is made to specific individual. Standing offer is an offer that is open for a specific duration. The last two types of offer, one is the counter offer. Counter offer na offer kuduthirken. Okay, I have given an offer saying that do you want to purchase my, I have given an offer saying that do you want to purchase my car for rupees 10 lakhs. I'm giving an offer to Arjun saying that do you want to purchase my car for rupees 10 lakhs. Arjun says what? Arjun says I am ready to buy but for rupees 8 lakhs. Here I am the offerer. I offered Arjun to buy the car at rupees 10 lakhs. Arjun said I am ready to buy but at 8 lakhs. Here Arjun has given acceptance, but his acceptance is conditional. but his acceptance is conditional. Whenever your acceptance is conditional, it becomes a counter offer. இப்போ நான் கொடுத்த 10 லட்சம் ஆஃபர் லாப்ஸ் ஆயிடுச்சு. இப்போ அர்ஜுன் is giving me offer, I am ready to buy the car for 8 lakhs. Are you willing to sell? நான் கொடுத்த ஆஃபர் 10 லட்சம் ஆஃபர் என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு? லாப்ஸ் ஆயிடுச்சு. Now Arjun's offer exists. Arjun is telling, I am willing to buy the car for 8 lakh. உனக்கு விக்கணுமா வேணாமான்னு சொல்லு. So counter offer is when you give a acceptance. Arjun car வாங்கிக்கிறேன்னு சொல்லிட்டான். Arjun car வாங்கிக்கிறேன்னு சொல்லிட்டான். But subject to certain conditions. So whenever your acceptance is conditional, you modify your acceptance. You modify that, saying that I'm ready to buy it, but for this much price. I'm ready to buy it, provided you give me a credit period. When you modify your acceptance, it's called a counter offer. It's not an acceptance, it is a counter offer. Right? Right? And cross offer is when two people are exchanging identical offers in ignorance of time. I am also sending Abhijit a mail saying that, do you want to buy my car for 10 lakhs? He is also sending me a mail saying that, ma'am, I want to purchase your car for 10 lakhs. We are exchanging identical offers, but we don't know that we both are talking about the same thing. Exchanging identical offers in ignorance of time. I don't know that what I am sending to Abhijit saying that, are you willing to buy? He is also sending me a mail saying, are you willing to sell? We're talking about the same thing, but we don't know that. That's called when two people are exchanging identical offers in ignorance of time. It's called what? It's called a cross offer. So these are the different types of offers that are there. Is that clear, people? Is that clear? Is that clear? Can we move on to the last topic of this particular offer part, which is offer is different from mere answer to a question. You are telling, let's say my classes, you are telling, ma'am, I want to purchase CA inter classes from you, law classes. I told, okay, pa, my law classes, you can buy it for 7,000 rupees, let's suppose. It's not that expensive, but just telling, you can buy it for 7,000 rupees. But you're telling, ma'am, what is the final price, ma'am? What is the final price you will sell for? I'm telling, finally, I will sell for 4,000 rupees per class. Now, I never told you I will sell it to you for 4,000. I told, final least I can sell it for is 4,000. So here, merely I'm just answering your question. You asked me, ma'am, what is the least that you will sell it for? I told, least I'll sell it for 4,000 pa. But I never told that I will sell it to you for 4,000. Merely answering a question is not equal to offer. Remember this Harvey versus Facey, where he asked that, will you sell that pen to me? You remember that? Will you sell the pen to me, and what is the lowest price that you will sell it for? And the other party replied saying that the lowest price I will sell is for 900 pounds. I never told that I will sell it to you for 900 pounds. You asked me what is the lowest price you will sell it for. I told 900 pounds. I never told I'll sell it to you for 900 pounds. So merely answering a question is not an offer. Merely answering a question is not an offer. Merely statement of price is not an offer. Okay? For example, you are coming and telling me how much is this car for. I am telling I might sell it for 10 lakhs. I might sell it. I am just telling my intention. I am just telling the price. It's not an offer. Or I am telling, I just feel like selling my car. I already have two. I just feel like selling one. A mere statement of intention. I have an intention to sell the car. That's not an offer. I never told, hey, do you want to buy my car? It's a second-hand car. It has run 10,000 kilometers. I am willing to sell it for 5 lakh rupees. Do you want to buy it? அப்படியா நான் கேட்டேன். I am telling, இந்த ரெண்டு கார் இருக்கு, ஒன்னுத்தை விற்கலான்னு யோசிக்கிறேன் அப்படின்னா, it's just stating my intention. அது ஆஃபர் கிடையாது. அது ஆஃபர் கிடையாது. And mere communication of information, same like above. Like அந்த ஹார்வே அண்ட் ஃபேசி கேஸ்ல அவன் தான் கேட்டான் இந்த பெண்ணை எவ்வளவு லீஸ்டுக்கு விற்பேன்னு. I told 900 pounds. I told 900 pounds. That is not what? That is not a offer. Is that clear, people? Is that clear? Invitation to offer, I'll teach you in detail next. But others, are you clear? Answering a question is not offer. Stating the price is not offer. Mere intention to sell it is not an offer. Mere communicating an information is not an offer. All these are easy. The most important is invitation to offer. The most important is invitation to offer. Invitation to offer அப்படினா என்னன்னா, it is a step that comes before the offer. For example, you are entering McDonald's. You see they have a nice elaborate menu saying that they have make aloo tikki, they have this kind of, they have a Coke, they have masala Coke, they have this particular mango shake. So many things you're seeing. They have fries, everything you're seeing. You tell that I want to place an order for 1 Mc aloo tikki. Okay, I want to place an order for 1 Mc aloo tikki. They are telling that it is not available. It is not available. Can you go and file a case against McDonald's? Can you go and file a case against McDonald's? No. You cannot do that. Because on the board display ஆனது is just an invitation to offer. Saying that எங்க கிட்ட இந்த ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கு, யாருக்காச்சும் வாங்கணும்னா வந்து ஆஃபர் பண்ணுங்க. நான் வந்து இதை வந்து 110 ரூபாய் கொடுத்துட்டு நான் மேக் ஆலு டிக்கி வாங்குறேன் அப்படின்னு நீ ஆஃபர் பண்ணு. எங்க கிட்ட இருந்ததுன்னா விற்கிறோம். டிஸ்பிளே இன் த மால், அந்த லைஃப் ஸ்டைலுக்கு வெளில அந்த மேனிக்வின்ல டிஸ்பிளே ஆகுதுல்ல, or display in front of a shop is just a invitation to offer. நீ அதை எடுத்துட்டு போய் பில்லிங் கவுண்டர்ல கொடுக்கறதா, அதுதான் ஆஃபர். And you guys know offer can be accepted or offer can be rejected. Invitation to offer comes before offer. Display of a product in the mall. Okay, menu card that you have, price tag that is there. These are all invitation to offer. When you go and actually bill it in the counter, that is the actual offer. An offer can be accepted or offer can be rejected. Is that clear, people? Just have a look at this. Invitation to offer will result in what? Offer. An offer will result in what? Contract. Is that clear? Absolutely clear, right? And this is one very important. Somebody who asked me in the personal chat, I think Nimish, you asked me, right? So this is the answer for you. Okay, ma'am, இப்போ நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ல ஒரு அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்குறாங்க, ஒரு வீடு விற்கிறதுக்கு ரெடியா இருக்கு அப்படின்னா அது இன்விடேஷன் டு ஆஃபரா? ஆமா. நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ல மெக்டொனால்ட்ஸ்ல புதுசா நாங்க கொரியன் பர்கர்ஸ் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கோம்னு கொடுக்குறாங்க, அது இன்விடேஷன் டு ஆஃபரா? எஸ், எஸ். மேம் அப்போ எப்படி மேம் கார்லில் வர்சஸ் கார்பாலிக் ஸ்மோக் பால் மட்டும் எப்படி மேம் ஆஃபர்? Usually whenever an advertisement is there in a newspaper, it is what? It is a invitation to offer. But when that newspaper advertisement is with a price reward, it becomes offer. Very important. திரும்பி சொல்றேன், வெறும் newspaper advertisement, make aloo tikki available, Korean burgers now introduced in India, this is an invitation to offer. But in the Carlyle versus Carbolic smoke ball companyல வெறும் அந்த ஸ்மோக் பால் பத்தி அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்டா இருந்தது இல்ல, அதை கன்சியூம் பண்ணி உனக்கு இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸா வந்ததுன்னா 100 பவுண்ட் ரிவார்டா கொடுக்குறோன்னு கூட இருந்தது. 100 பவுண்ட் ரிவார்டா கொடுக்குறோன்னு கூட இருந்தது. When advertisement is newspaper comes with a reward, now it becomes a offer. A normal advertisement saying lifestyle 50% off is going to happen or Black Friday sale irukka podu, this is the invitation to offer. But when advertisement is with a reward, that is an offer. Are you able to understand the difference? Advertisement with reward, offer. Only advertisement, invitation to offer. Clear, people? Clear, people? That is your entire unit up till offer. We still have acceptance and communication part left, which we'll be doing in the next session, and we'll ensure that we wrap up unit number 1. Okay, you can try out now the questions related to unit number 1 and you will be able to solve all of them, right?